physical condition, your sports, even chess, helps you understand a lot of components that go into your decision making.
The b.a.s.e, the system that works when it matters most.
Today's guest had led at the highest levels, from Navy SEALs operations to Vice Admiral, from US Central Command to global strategy. In AI, he has operated where decisions carry permanent consequences. He has jumped onto Everest at 23,000 feet. He has led in war, in geopolitics, and in business. Bob, it's an honor.
Good to be with you.
Bob, when did you first realize you were built for high consequence environments?
I don't think I was built, really. I think I was educated and experienced from it. So I think as a naval career and my education, when you went to the Naval Academy where I went to school, they trained you. They told you your education was to be a leader. So you started getting that exposure there. And then as I first was served on ships, and then in the SEAL community, you really became a professional because you mastered your craft at the tactical level. And obviously I did okay because they kept promoting me, but as you went through the ranks, your purpose changed. You went from the tactical level, leading a SEAL platoon or driving a ship, to that operational level, how you plan and execute stuff. And if you're good at that level, and they obviously felt I was, they educated me at the strategic level by going to school and being educated. And then those jobs, you gained your experience. So I say the two things that I think were most important, I just had a lot of different jobs. In my 40-year naval career, I had 26 different jobs.
Whoa.
So that built a lot of experience for different environments, different peoples, different cultures. So I think that was what enabled it. And I was lucky, and each of the jobs were completely different, every single one of them. So I think
we jump onto that a bit later.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. And you had, I think, more than 3 decades in the Navy SEALs, in the Army. So what does b.a.s.e really test?
I think it confirms that you can handle stress, that you can handle pressure, physical and mental pressure, and still keep going on. So I think that's what the program's designed to do. And there's a little debate of that. Some say it's the community's assessing if you're good enough to be one of them, but you're also, is this really what I want to do? Because it's a rough year, it's pretty brutal, and so there's assessments going on both sides of the table. Are you good enough to be a SEAL? Is this really what you want to do? So I think that's what the program measures and assesses so well.
You had both roles, so at the first participant and then as a leader as well. So if you focus now on both roles from your perspective now, what's your take on that?
Well, I would take it, especially predicated on the different jobs. At the end of the day, we're all in the people business. So I was always a member of a team, and thank God, most of the team was stronger than I, but together we could solve the problems, accomplish that mission. So I was just blessed with all the people I worked with, that community, and really that sentiment, kind of the book I wrote, The Gouge, where you all took care of each other. And if you took care of each other, you could accomplish the goal and mission.
For those who don't know that, the b.a.s.e is basic underwear demolition. So, special friend told me you stood in underwear in front of the president. You have to come out with that story.
I was working at the White House for President Bush and Dr. Rice on the National Security Council. And I was at an undisclosed location when the president was traveling on Air Force One. And in this undisclosed location, they had a gym. So I'm in the gym working out. And the comm guys come and see me, hey, the president wants to see you, you gotta come to the sit room. So I ran to my room and put on a coat and tie, but I left my underwear on because I knew I was behind a table. And what it was, they were testing. He wanted to validate. They had just installed the first video teleconferencing on Air Force One. I think this was 2005. So I'm sitting behind this table talking to the president. He's saying, Bob, can you see me? How's it? Oh, yes, Mr. President, I can see you. Good. He says, Bob, stand up. I said, sir, no, why are you talking? No, I'm all right. Bob, stand up, stand up. And he started giving me a hand. What had happened, the comm guys had told his comm guy that I only, and he had a wonderful sense of humor. So he was kind of messing, stand up, you're going to talk to the president? Oh, yes, sir, Mr. President. So he had a great sense of humor. He was messing with me, but working, he was just one of those wonderful people. He's a very good athlete. As the president, he would run 4 miles in under 7 minutes a mile. Whoa. So he's a big runner. He had a great sense of humor. And he's just a very personable man. So really one of those real pleasures. The kind of leaders you learn so much from, and you really appreciated how he worked with people. So I really thought he was one of our best presidents.
Well, what an awesome story. Just one more take on the b.a.s.e. What do you think? Who were you after? So before and after, what changed?
Well, it's interesting. Going to the Naval Academy, I learned about SEALs. We had 1 or 2 of the Vietnam Air SEALs come and talk to our leadership, and I was so impressed with them. One of them was a gentleman called Tommy Norris, who was awarded the Medal of Honor because he had gone in single-handed into Vietnam and recovered a downed pilot. It's a pretty amazing mission. But subsequently on another mission, he was shot in the head and lost an eye, blew out. And another SEAL, Mike Thorne, had recovered it and taken him out. So he came and talked to our leadership. And his talk was really spectacular. But one of the things that impressed me the most, our teacher, our Marine, he had worked with Tommy in Vietnam and knew it. And he'd been trying to get him to come and see us for several months. And right before he was supposed to come, he had a Porsche, and he was working it under his, and he dropped a screwdriver into his one good eye. And the Marine said, Tommy, that's horrible. What are you go see a doctor? Right? Oh no, I'm going to get the mechanic to fix it. He was less concerned about his eye than he was about his car. And just that kind of attitude, that's the type of people I wanted to be with and serve. So that's what inspired me to go into SEALs. But when I graduated from the Naval Academy in 1979, the Navy was getting rid of SEALs. They didn't want SEALs. They didn't want to have to pay for them because SEALs only came to being during Vietnam. Mm-hmm. When President Kennedy wanted special operations, that we created the first 2 SEAL teams.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the war, the Navy didn't want them, so it wasn't good. So we had to go to the fleet first, earn a qualification, and then you could go try to be a SEAL.
So that what you now explained, is it that what separates them who finish and for those who quit? Is that type of people?
That's true. It's still very high attrition rates, about 85%. So you gotta want it. It's something you really want because it's brutal training, and it's a year of just brutality, physical and mental. And so if you don't really want it, you're probably not going to make it. Yeah.
Bob, I want to focus a bit on decision making when it really matters. So you've made decisions where hesitation costs lives, and how do you decide when information is incomplete?
That's a great question, because it's always going to be incomplete. And I think one of the things that I've seen the best help with decision making is experience. You can be the smartest guy, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but that experience-based decision. So, and where I sense we made the best decisions is when we had experience input, when we were open, transparent, we could have discussions and move forward. And you're not always going to get that. But then at the end of the day, it's leaders who know they're accountable, accept that accountability, and are willing to make those decisions, not only from the inputs, but from what they know is right and what they believe in. And that's kind of what's always guided me. I've been very fortunate. Most the bulk of the time we've gotten it right, although there's always been a few go wrong.
You explained the experience, and I know you love to play chess too, and so at high level decision making, is it more instinct or more structured analysis?
Well, all your education, Navy education training tells you processes and systems, but I'm a big intuition guy. Oh. There isn't a bureaucracy I haven't hated, so to speak, or a system I haven't hated. But I think a belief in yourself, a belief in your people, and then what you know is right will guide you. And most of the times I've been very fortunate with that situation.
Yeah. Have you ever made a decision knowing history might judge it?
Oh, without a doubt. Yes. Yes. Well, and not just history, yourself. Is this something you can live with? I have to say this, your family. My moral compass in many situations was my wife. So I think everybody has different inputs and people believe and trust in and serve that. So I think sometimes it's a combination of all that, but I was very blessed to work with people. I have my moral compass there with me and all. So,
Bob, let's say, what is the real cost of hesitation?
Well, the real cost can be lives. That's always your greatest determination. But and doubting yourself. Yeah, there was some of those situations where you kind of got to go against the flow sometimes, and I think that's where hesitation comes the most, when you're not sure, you're not confident in yourself, or maybe don't believe in the people. I think that's where hesitation comes from the most.
Oh yeah. What responsibility weighs heavier, tactical command or strategic command affecting nations?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, they're both hard, to tell you the truth. I think one broader ramifications, but in my mind, it's always life's at stake. If you're losing people, or you're going to cause the loss of life, especially a lot of people, those things I think become and it's how. In that day or that time, that may be the right answer. But next week it may be completely wrong. So,
1 day, 1 week, 3 weeks.
Especially in today's environment, what's right and what's wrong today may not be that. But and those are the things you have to live with more so than others.
Yes.
So.
Oh yes. Let's take a short look on your personal edge. You parachuted onto Everest. As mentioned, most people would never consider that. What drives you toward extreme environments?
Well, that was an opportunity. When I do, life is the great adventure, and I want to make the most out of it. And I had the opportunity, very happenstance, to jump on, but I wouldn't have had that opportunity to had I not physically taken care of myself over the years, continued parachuting, but all those things enabled that opportunity. And when I first told my family, I was a grandpa at the time, and they said, "Hey, grandpas don't do that stuff." I can. But then when we did the final jump, and I got on that helicopter, and he couldn't fly it very well at 25,000 feet. Mm-hmm. So you're out on the skid, hoping he's just. And in my mind, maybe grandpas don't do this stuff. But at that point, it's so late. So my kind of logic shifted to where we're all going to die. There's no doubt about that, and I don't want to go in a nursing home at 97. So if you're going to go, that's a pretty good way to go. And people will remember, hey, whatever happened to Bob? Oh, he burned in on that. That's a pretty cool, if you're going to go. So all those things kind of went through my mind, but it was just one of those amazing adventures I got to be a part of. And again, I'm blessed. It's because people I'd worked with, people I'd taken care of, were taking care of me. So it's that concept we talked, the gouge, where your contract with humanity. Do you take care of each other? And if you do, that thing comes back in your life over and over again. Yeah. And that was how the jump all came to be. So it's pretty amazing.
What an amazing story.
I was very fortunate.
Well, I think, do you seek discomfort, or does it shape you?
Well, I think no one seeks discomfort, but and that's, I guess, my career and life, it's coming. You're going to experience, you're going to have pain, you're going to have discomfort. And so I think just embrace it and move through it and understand it. But I've been fortunate, I've been injured and stuff, but my prayers are all people who have cancer, these debilitating diseases and stuff, that they just suffer so miserably. That's a lot on my mind at the moment. Most of my suffering or pain was pretty short term. Doctors could fix it, or I got well. But my prayers are people have these long lasting diseases or cancer or other issues where they just suffer. My heart's out to them every day. So,
yeah, time and health are values what most people miss if they are gone.
That's exactly right.
That's the problem.
And so that's why the core, and why I love being a SEAL and love I got to take care of myself. I got paid to exercise, and it still remains a core of what I am, taking care of myself. And I think that's why I'm fortunate, healthy, and I haven't suffered so much or pain. You kind of get a little of that working out all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You get accustomed, you train your brain. But it's your most important bank account is you. And so if you're not exercising, using all your parts, taking care of, then you may suffer a little more than others. So I'm a big believer of taking care of yourself.
Is that physical discipline, how does this influence strategic clarity?
I think it helps tremendously. Without a doubt, I think physical condition, your sports, even chess, helps you understand a lot of components that go into your decision making, and specifically at the strategic level. It gives you a better understanding of the capacities of people, organizations, and do this. So I do think it's an enabler of those skill sets that you need for that.
So at that level of leadership, it's crucial, or?
Yeah, well, not crucial, but I think it's beneficial, and it gives you an edge as well. And most of the situations where strategic decisions and decisions I made, some of them took days, took time. So the physical dimension, to be healthy, be able to keep going, manage stress, plays into all of that.
Oh, yeah. So you're in your 60s, I hope I'm right. How do you maintain this elite fitness at this age?
With friends. I mean that a lot. As you know, I PT every day, and I always enjoy having someone being there. And it's a two-way street. One, if I know I'm PTing, I got to show up. I can't wake up in the morning, oh, my back hurts or my neck. No, I have a commitment to someone to be there. And number two, so one, it's a forcing function. Number two, it's just more fun that way, because you, especially men, we're not the smartest creatures on, but most of the guys and all, we're very competitive. So that's that helps. If I can do more pull-ups or push-ups than him. And there's always that camaraderie. Yeah, messing with it. Like this morning, we had some German KSK guys, we had some Norwegians with us, we had a Greek, and so it was a very eclectic crowd, and we were all doing it together. We could also, when one guy couldn't do all the push-ups, that's so sad. So that having other people make it fun, and I think it motivates you and helps you maintain the level you're at as well. So there are all sorts of benefits of doing it with friends and people you know, or even people you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever doubted yourself at highest level?
Oh, every day. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But not in the doubt and confidence. And I consider that actually a benefit. I don't think I'm ever the smartest guy in the room. I don't think I'm even the wisest. I'm not experienced. So I'm always looking to see what I can glean, learn, or do better from others. So I think that I won't call it humility, I'd call it doubt, or the realization that you and yourself are not always the whole part of the puzzle. And if you collectively can assimilate that knowledge and experience, you're going to get there. But of course, doubted myself at every turn of the occasion. But there's a point where you just say, okay, we're doing this, and then that doubt or regret is counterproductive. Once you make that decision, move forward. Don't doubt yourself a minute, or don't regret.
Decision is done.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything but eat yourself up.
Yeah.
Go do it. Make the most of it. So, yeah.
Bob, you transitioned from commanding SEALs and CENTCOM operations to shaping the future of autonomous warfare. So, what was harder, warfighting or corporate leadership?
Well, that's a great question. I would say leadership in the military was much easier than in the business world. In one way, I know, of course, the business where your people's risks at light made that difficult. But the organization is very structured. Everybody's trained and educated in the process. It stays pretty standard.
Clear comms.
Clear comms, clear authorities, clear hierarchy. In business, that does not exist. It's very federated. People don't want to assume responsibility. They don't want to see accountability. Corporations want profit. So they're two completely different animals. And I think what was productive from the military experience, because of the plethora of jobs and assignment, I had that flexibility. I could have that assessment, that OODA loop that I then trained in the military for military: observe, orient, decide, and act. I applied to business. Ooh, this thing's different. Ooh, they do that? Oh, that guy? So I observed, then I could orient, and I had to recalibrate my thinking, how I acted, then I could decide. And even decisions was a much different process. So I think that training helped me in the corporate world, but it was completely different. And again, I went to one of the largest defense companies, if not the largest defense company at the time for a career, which was completely different than this new high-tech, leading-edge technology.
Two stories.
Two complete cultures and experiences there. And again, that very observe, orient, decide, and act served me well. And I'm still on this journey, so to speak.
Yeah, oh yes. So, where did you have to constantly reinvent yourself?
Wow. Every year or two. Tell you what, because each of my jobs was so completely, you had to always, as part of that OODA loop, who and what am I in this organization structure? How's my leadership? How's my fellow? You have to be a follower as much as a leader, and those things can flip back and forth each day. And I think that's one of the greatest concepts I learned in the military that helped me in that transition. You're not only the supported, sometimes you're supporting. And understanding where and when you did that and where you had value added from those roles, I think was helpful.
Oh, yeah. What leadership skills transferred seamlessly and which ones didn't?
No, great. Authority and accountability.
Oh.
Both of those, I think, were very different in the military world from the business and corporate world. It's a much more nebulous, distributed form, and I would say also more accommodating and more tolerant in the business world. And that may sound unusual, especially at some of the highest levels. I found that very different in both of those two organizations.
In a world increasingly shaped by AI and autonomy, what remains uniquely human?
That is the million-dollar question I think we still don't have an answer to. And here's why I tell you that. Because even now, and we're all on this AI journey, and we're still, I don't know if we're still in the nascent stage or we're transition, but I'm in some of these groups and you're seeing this autonomy where we're building it, we're rehearsing every time. Some of the AI business is already running machines and making their own decisions. So where we are on this journey, not just operationally, but what are the policies that are governing that and the strategy? And so I think all these things are still being defined. I can't, because I don't see all the applications in AI. I see some of the intelligence applications. I see unmanned drones and what we're doing for autonomous pilots. But in terms of analytics, terms of business structure, processes, I don't have the same visibility or maturity where we are in these different aspects of AI. But this becomes the I think, dilemma and challenge for everyone to understand where we are in that thing.
Oh yes. So what misconceptions do leaders have about AI in defense?
Well, I wouldn't say well, maybe they are misconceptions. I don't know. I would just think a lot of leaders, and it's back to, I think, one of the same, don't have a lot of experience in it yet, don't really understand it. So we're building that now. I'm one of those guys. When I showed up first day of Shield AI, I still couldn't put my hands around it, couldn't understand it. It took me about a year, at least in our lane, and I saw that when our first AI, we had taken a drone that could fly itself without anyone telling, go right, go left, go up or down. When I saw this drone make all those decisions, and I'll tell you what the story was. We were losing our SEALs, our SF guys, our Rangers. We took a lot of casualties when we went into buildings. So Shield AI's first product was a drone called the Nova. And we put, I think it's 15 cameras on that, and that camera gave it the ability to know where it was, and that's the first step in autonomy. If the platform knows where it is, then it can make decisions on that. So we built this drone. It now goes through buildings and stuff, and one of our customers did not believe us because they took us to a building. We took and they took us to a building we didn't know. They met us at the plane. We opened the box, and we opened this thing and let it go. And we watched it on a camera outside the building go all and make decisions, go, oh. The customer thought we had someone far away remotely controlling that. So the second iteration, they took it to a building where it was shielded. So no signals. So now when we launched it, we're just standing outside. We don't know what it does. When it comes out and finishes, we took it and downloaded, and you saw which validated, not only operationally, but in my mind, that's what AI. So we're taking that same process to put it on a VBAT, put it on our next generation XBAT, so that I can go to scale. I can fly a myriad of these to do the mission without the manpower necessary to fly it, much less make decisions, pure tactical decisions. It will do that. And I think that's going to revolutionize air warfare and what we're doing.
Definitely. Bob, how do you ensure technology enhances judgment rather than replaces it?
Well, in my case, that's not hard. It may need to replace it. No, you've hit the big policy issue. And I'll say this, I think we talked about this previously.
Yeah.
And it's a great correlation to, I think, the military in one regard. And I love my Army brothers, but I like to mess with them a lot. But in their culture, there's a chain of command. No one does anything without approval. So in that concept, if you apply that to AI, you can have the aircraft functioning, but you could craft it so you approve every other critical. When it flies to this point, I don't want to go further till I approve it. So you can put a man in the loop and structure it so you could make decisions, man in the loop. The next step is really AI that functions on its own. You don't want to approve it, you just want to monitor it and stop it if it does something you don't like. And so in drones, that's easier to do. And if you have communications, that's easy to do. So there's that man in the loop, approving every step, man on the loop, stopping it. But then the real magic and what we're going to need, especially if we go to war where they've taken out satellites, we don't have command and control, we're going to have to trust it's going to go off and do it. We can't see it just like that little drone, but we know it's going to do the mission. And we have to have that capability if we lose comms, GPS. So if we don't have that option and we need it, we're going to be in bad shape.
Oh, yeah. Let's focus back a bit on the human side. What should young leaders understand about the future of warfare?
It's changing quicker than it ever has before. And I think so. That's where our leaders have to be adaptable, flexible, and creative. They're going to see technology. They're going to see concepts maybe before others, though. So they not only have to be a master of their own craft, but they got to see where this is going and how we can craft it to maintain our advantages and stuff. So I need leaders who are willing to take risks, who are innovative, who are smart, and can see the future and help drive the future. I think that's what we're going to need in this type of environment.
Do you believe the future battlefield will demand more human resilience or less?
I think we're always going to need human resilience, but I do believe and I hope that we have fewer battlefields. If we do this right and create these, I think it's going to be deterrent. No one, just like the policy of mutually assured destructions with nukes. Russians would never want to try to send a nuke because they know they'll be gone. That will both do so much damage. I hope drones are going to be the same way. The Chinese are building ships after ships. They're going to outbuild us as ships. Well, if we know where all of those ships are at any time and we can target and they go, why build the ship? So I'm hoping this technology is going to take us to a new level of strategic deterrence where nation states and others realize that conflict will be counterproductive at the end of the day. And so it doesn't answer your question directly, but in that case, human resilience becomes less necessary. Yeah. We aren't as vulnerable to it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah. If a young officer or a leader watches this, what principle must they realize early?
I think their value and potential to any country they're serving. It's a tough life, military life. No country pays their military as well as the civilian field. So they're sacrificing a lot, not just by the ultimate sacrifice, but daily they're living, taking care of your family. So I hope they realize how important to their country they are and how the countries need them now more than ever. And that everyone recognizes the sacrifice and acknowledge it now, but they have to live it.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope we're grooming people who can live with that sacrifice day in and stay long enough to have the real impact of the potential each of them have.
Oh, yeah. So I have a question, but I hope I open not the biggest box in your life. What mistakes taught you the most in your career?
Wow, mistakes, I mean, go on. I tend to dwell more on the ones I had the most concern and got right, other than mistakes. I'll never forget. So my first 4 years out of the Naval Academy, I drove ships. And at the time, those ships were, that was the Navy. And my father, who drove ships in the Navy, who was always so proud of me and told me I was going to be an admiral one day. I didn't even think I'd make 4 years in the Navy. But I drove ships for 4 years, and when I went to the SEAL, which was at that time a horrible career path. No one did that. My father called me and said, hey, I never did think you're too smart. I just didn't think you're this dumb. There's no future in that. But even after I switched, he kept saying, be an admiral. And miracles of miracles, I made an admiral. So probably my greatest regret is looking back and wishing I'd spent more time with my dad and my family. So especially my dad, he was such a cool guy. But once I graduated from the Naval Academy, I'm in the Navy, I'm deploying all the time. I didn't really get much time with my dad, and he was just the most wonderful man. He's smart. Not only did he influence, he impacted the whole reason I'm in the Navy, the whole reason I had this, because of my father. And so I just regret I could have spent more time, and I got on life too much to do that. So that would be my only one of those things I regret.
Bob, when it matters most, what anchors you?
People. People, my family, people I love and care for, but people. I like people, and they've done so much for me. I really enjoy taking care and helping other people as much as they've done for me. So that's one of my real anchors in life.
Bob, thank you for your service. Thank you. Your leadership and your honesty. Conversations like this remind us that technology evolves, but character remains the foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. This was a talk. It's unbelievable, and we see us in the next one. Cheers.
The base, back to what matters most. Stay human, stay strong.